I can never tell. I understand why people do the going live shortly thing, because I can never goddamn tell when it actually goes live. Where is the feed? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, live from the McDonald's bathroom behind the Coca Geekon, because the doors aren't open yet. It's the Sunday morning sumo show. Already got it wrong. Show Whole Hog the Movie 2025 in review. With me is my co-host, as always, JJ. Everyone knows Spiffy from Spiffy's Bar and Grill, and I have been waiting to make fun of you for like half a year now. Spiffy, your John Boy video, the parody. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Well done. One question. Spiff Boy means something different where you're from, doesn't it?
It doesn't mean anything where I'm from.
All right, then I'll keep it that way. And everyone who knows us knows Ron. How you doing?
Good, doing good.
I immediately starts Googling.
Listen, it's not even on Urban Dictionary. What the fuck are you talking about?
Let's not worry about that. Local Australian issues that you don't have to be concerned with. We are looking at 2025 in review. I bought two of the greatest sumo minds I could find and JJ to talk about this, and boy howdy are we ready to talk about this. First off, easiest one, maybe not, Basho of the year. Who wants to go first? JJ.
I mean,
all right, JJ.
Does anyone have an answer besides July?
Actually, yeah, I do.
I do too. Yeah,
oh,
I'm saying November for a number of reasons. Firstly, it's good that we had two competitive Yokozunas going into it, basically until the last day or the last couple of days. It's been a while since both of them have been super competitive like that. And then also with Aonishiki coming in and swiping the win and getting the promotion, I think all of that is enough for me to give it that.
Yeah, good reasoning. Okay,
yeah, I could not agree more. Two Yokozunas heading into a Yokozuna playoff. There were real Yushos at 13-2 as well. I could not have been happier. The whole ride was wild and exciting, and Onosato was in the lead, and then he starts slipping, and then Hosharyu's catching up, and the whole drama of it, chasing that whole thing was beautiful. It was almost the worst thing ever on day 14. If the Fusen Yusho was given. And that could have he sat out, Kodazaka got injured, and was like, all right, good, I'm done. But then we forced the playoff, and it was fantastic. Oh, that was a wild ride.
Right. But you're talking about September, Goose.
Am I?
Yes.
He said November.
Oh, you said November. I got Aki on here, and I'm not that smart to begin with.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, you're like, there's two competitive Yokozuna. There were two competitive Yokozuna in September.
Sumo DB,
we just had it. So it wasn't like, I mean, it's a good thing. I'm not arguing against it. But it had just happened. It wasn't like something that we hadn't seen in a while.
I was talking the one beforehand.
Yeah.
September. I'm lost.
So
yeah,
I'm
Aki,
different than both
13-2, 13-2. JJ, my apologies. You were correct.
Yeah. So mine was May. And the reason why was Onosato was headed for a Zen Yusho. I mean, he was proving he was going to be absolutely dominant. Everyone thought, okay, here's the spirit of Terunofuji. And then here comes Hoshoryu. Comes out, beats him in the last match, takes the Zen Yusho away, still ends up with a Jun Yusho. I mean, and I think it just showed that although Hosh hadn't won a Yusho up to that point as a Yokozuna, it was that he still, is going to be in there, and he is going to be basically the kryptonite for Onosato probably throughout his career.
Yeah, it was such a good way to say, to like just put a capstone on like who these two Yokozunas are, that it's like, wow, Onosato is really good, but and I could not agree with you more on that.
Yeah, so I think we had a lot of good Yushos this year, Yeah.
Well, but we're talking about the Basho of the year, right?
I mean, Basho of the year.
whole,
yeah, I'm
the
sorry,
whole
Basho
Basho, the
yeah, I
whole
meant
story
the
of
whole
the Basho going into it.
Yeah.
And that's like, I actually have that one where I want to talk about it in other categories. And the only part where I would disagree that it's the Basho of the year is that, yeah, that was huge, but that was kind of the only thing that happened of real note. Whereas July was such a wild ride. Like, top to bottom, it was absolute maximum insanity. Because it looked like Onishiki was going to start running it. And then all of a sudden, he doesn't quite do it. And then all these guys are coming up from Maegashira. Now, granted, I am on record many times over being very pro competitive Maegashira guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love that. I think that's huge fun. And I think that makes for a much more compelling competition overall. So that's why I made a whole ass video about it. Of course, I'm going to think it's that one. But I just I thought September was good, and I thought November was a little. I'm happy Onishiki got Ozeki. I'm happy he got there, but the way Onosato kind of broke down at the end, it was sort of a damp fart ending. Even though we are happy about the competitive aspect going forward, coming out of it. Yeah, I think Yusho of the year is where I am leaning more towards are the top guys doing what the top guys are supposed to do, and Basho of the year is what was the most interesting one overall. Okay. So that's why I have July.
Yeah, that's what I try to break down, but I don't do a good job explaining. Where it's the whole story leading into it versus just the Yusho itself. Because otherwise, Ron saying Onosato getting a Yusho on a loss on the final day, I would not be accepting that. But speaking of Yusho of the year, JJ, who do you have?
Man, why is it going back to me again? I honestly, I mean, just by numbers, I would have to give it to the Onosato 14-1. That's as close to, I mean, the last time we had that was Kotozakura, right? And I was on record as being super excited about that. So that's huge, but I think implications going forward, Aonishiki coming in to get the playoff win over Hoshoryu after beating him in regulation match as well, I think is massive. So I'm kind of torn between those two.
No, I got to give it to Aonishiki as well. It was the most exciting one. We're gonna get Onosato versus Hoshoryu for like 10 years, and it's gonna be incredible. But just watching him finally nab one, like that was the most exciting day 15 for me at least, and like the headlines that did as well. It was in the Australian Sunday paper that Aonishiki got that. Like that was a big deal,
it was big news all over the world.
Yeah, that made it here too.
Yeah, I mean, it made the U.S. papers. But I'll say for me, I actually had 2 Yushos of the year on the basis of the first was Kota Shoho's. I mean, you talk about a guy that totally came out of left field. He had an easy first week. He was down fighting the guys down in the M11, M14 range. But the second week, I mean, he got thrown against the Sanyaku, and he beat some good guys on that path, including Onishiki. The other one was Hosh's victory in January. And the reason for that was he knew everything was on the line. The pressure on him was huge. They knew that the word was in the wind, Terunofuji was retiring. And he had to Yusho if he was going to get that shot, because he could also see that, Onosato was coming into form. And he did it. I mean, he stepped into a very pressure situation, had to win a 3-way playoff in order to make it happen. And, I just go, okay, in a pressure-filled situation for the top rank in the sport, he stepped up at that point in time. So those, I said, those were my 2 co-equals for Yusho of the year. Yeah.
So I ended up writing down 4. Obviously, I'm not going to say 4 of them, but I think so. The January one, May, July, and November. I was considering between all of those. And I think all of them have things that detract from, yes, this was the U show of the year kind of an argument. So on Nishki's, I think it's going to be a big deal going forward. I think it would have been a more noteworthy U show if he hadn't already become Hoshoryu's daddy. Like, he has been spanking that boy up and down the dojo from the moment they walked into it together for the first time. So him winning the playoff, as noteworthy as it was not even a tiny bit of a surprise by that point. Ono Sato going 14-1 would have probably gotten there if he had gone 14-1 with an earlier loss, but beating Hoshoryu on the last day.
Yeah,
but blowing his Zensho and still not solving the biggest riddle of his in the sport takes away from that. I think Kota Shoho's was the most remarkable, but then he completely shits his sash the next tournament with a 3-12.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of the luster off of it. So I'm going with Hoshoryu in January, not just because of the quality of the U show, and I think the quality of the U show was arguable because he had to back into that playoff a little bit. Kinbozan had to lose to Oho on the last day for him to even have a chance. It doesn't happen without that. He had to get help to get that even the playoff opportunity. And classically speaking, the Yokozuna is supposed to just run that shit front to back. But he did clutch up. He did get the wins when he needed them. When all looked lost, he did everything he needed to do to stay in the race. And most importantly, think about what kind of a game changer that has been for the sport since January. It may not be necessarily fair to Aonishiki because his just happened, and the after effects of Hoshoryu's U show, we've had the whole year to watch him. But now I think we just accept Hoshoryu as a Yokozuna. And if he had done anything less than what he actually did in January, we don't have him as a Yokozuna. And how much different is the sport, especially given his injuries after that? He doesn't pick it up the next tournament, right?
No, Hoshoryu does get a lot of hate, but I want to point that out. He definitely is a Yokozuna because he is always in the U show picture. If you beat him, you get the U show is usually what's happening.
Yep, that is true. But he has had the opportunity to rest his injuries.
Right.
He would not have been able to do that necessarily as Nozeki, or well, he could have, but it would have been a risk. And if he had sat out or had to drop out of the same tournaments, we still would not have Hoshoryu as a Yokozuna right now. And the entire landscape of the sport would be different. So
yeah, definitely.
Like, you might maybe it's a tiebreaker, but I think the knock-on effects of his win make that win the biggest.
Extremely compelling argument. My answer has changed to January of 2025. No, I mean, for real, a lot of fantastic
JJ's a pushover. You got to remember that.
Oh, I'm a bitch. No, absolutely fantastic points. I think that what you said about us just kind of taking Hoshoryu for granted as a Yokozuna strikes true to me. And I totally agree. We would definitely not be in the same place if it was just Onosato as Yokozuna. I feel like we're very excited about the Onosato Hoshoryu thing. And without it, I think having Aonishiki show up is great, but the implications of that are going to be felt next year. So, yeah, for 2025, January I think it's the tournament.
Yeah, considering just how beat Aonishiki has Hoshoryu, it really is the Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbasaur era for 2026.
We don't even call it rock, paper, scissors anymore.
It's more fun to say that. I would like to point out, Ron gave 2 answers, JJ changed his answer, and had a total 6. No one said Kota Shoho. Love it. Love it.
No, he said Kota Shoho. That was one of his 2.
Yeah, that was one of my two.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, because
All
it's just
One
it's a
person
one
said
in a
Kota
million.
Shoho. It is.
Yeah.
Who's never
I mean,
listened?
he's the guy that pulled the winning lotto ticket number.
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
But-
Hayden was being very rude to me recently. I'm not allowed to show what he sent me on screen
Wait, recently? I thought that's continuous.
while we were live. So I wasn't listening. My apologies, Ron. Yes, Kota Shoho.
I mean,
It was a real U. It was an
Goose-
absurd U show. Honorable mention.
That's
What?
what you get for texting Gaga while he's on a Baymax.
That's a good point. Every time Gagamara is live on a Bamer, I send him a text and he gets back to me. I think it annoys him. It's really funny.
Uh,
No, I just want to honorably mention that 13-2, that's a real U show. Kenboshi, goddamn. Didn't do the Tokushoryu 14-1, but my god, was that Kenboshi make it just as good. Absolutely absurd. That dude's probably going back to Juryo. Following up with the 312 is absolutely insane. What a legend. Love him for it.
Yeah.
All right, now we get to the fun part where I don't explain what any of these mean, and it's up to interpretation. Ron, starting with you, who gets the Fighting Spirit prize?
It came down to me to two guys. I looked at who won the awards during the year. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys got Fighting Spirit awards throughout the year. 2 guys had repeats. One was Kirishima, the other one was Aonishiki. And I'm giving it to Aonishiki, and the reason is this is a young guy on the rise. Kirishima was up there. I mean, he was supposed to be making his Ozeki run, and basically he bottled it. I mean, he had a great opportunity, especially with Kazak, being injured for the entire year, and did not take advantage of it. But Aonishiki, I mean, this is a guy that's just been on the rise since the day he came into sumo. Every basho, he has been a level higher. That's a new high rank for him. Now, that'll slow down now that he's going to be making a Yokozuna run, because obviously he needs at least 2 bashos at Ozeki in order to make that occur.
Who knows?
But,
Maybe they'll break the rules for him again. You never know. These things are hard to predict.
Who knows?
Notoriously.
Yeah. But to me, it's just, and it's his attitude when he comes in. I mean, he's all business. And just the way he talks about his training, everything else, he is in this because he loves doing it. And, he's got just a incredible passion for it. Not that the other guys don't, but that was what made the decision for me over Kirishima. Yeah.
Spoody?
So Kirishima never really had an Ozeki run this year, right? He had it last year. Wakatake Kage had it this year.
Wakatake did, but Kirishima, I mean, he would have had to put together a couple 13 wins. He could have pulled it.
Okay, so he was. Oh, I didn't know if you were thinking of Waka or if you were just saying that he was
No.
in a position.
Waka had the solid run.
Yeah,
But Kira, he was
Kira was-
positioned to make a run.
Yeah, he was Sekiwake for like half the year. Okay, fair enough.
Waka never got
So-
10 wins this whole year, though. What do you mean? He was in Magashira. I'm looking at
What do you think of
Motoharu.
Motoharu
Continue.
or Take?
Yeah, I'm like Waka 2. Yeah.
Oh, no, there's a 12-3 in the
Waka
middle of
Prime.
that. Yep, there you go.
Anyway, so I went into this with one goal: don't give everything to Aonishiki. Like,
Boo! Boo,
I
he
love
kind of
watching
deserves
this
it.
dude fight. He's amazing, but it's gonna get boring if everything goes to Aonishiki. So I put him on the short list because obviously I had to. But if you'll recall, last year I said Abi gets the technique award because he just does one thing over and over and it keeps working. So I decided to redefine this one too. I decided to take fighting spirit as literally as possible. Fuck the wins. We're just going with who goes forward and never stops. And so I had 3 people on that list. I had Hirota Umi, Toki Hayate, and Tamawashi. Tamawashi, we like the argument there is obvious. Hirota Umi, I think he's got the most hyper aggressive forward smash mouth sumo, but he also
Had.
really, really, really tries to false start his way to wins, so I disqualify him on that basis. And I like Toki Hayate because he is a smaller dude, but he doesn't have that ridiculous small guy power like Fuji Nokawa has, but he's still just like he tries to motorboat every taller opponent he has and then just run them out of the ring. And I love watching it. It's a lot of fun. But I'm giving it to Tamawashi because this dude is 41 years old, and it doesn't matter if he doesn't have much of a chance against some of these guys. He is going to attempt to face plant everybody in front of him, and that's all I want if I'm going to say somebody wins fighting spirit. Period.
Makes sense to me. I will argue that Fuji Nokawa has the better tachiai than Hirata Umi, though. That dude tries to do sumo like someone isn't in front of him, and he's just trying to escape the ring, and I find that wildly entertaining.
Oh yeah, Fuji's great.
Yeah.
But no, Iron Man.
Impressive nerd answer there, Ron. I'm gonna go purely off of vibes for fighting spirit and say Takayasu. 36 years old, broken back, 4 basho in the Sanyaku. He's going to Sekiwake next year. 2026 will mark his 12th year in the Sanyaku. He has not given up ever. Absolutely beautiful work, and it is just goddamn inspiring. I'm getting old and injured myself. Absolutely goddamn inspiring to see someone like that just refuse to slow down. And it's kind of like, oh, Tamawashi, he's old, but he's still here. Takayasu is in the Sanyaku doing that. It is incredible to watch. I think that is remarkable, and the fighting spirit it takes to do that is why I got to give it to him. You have your hand raised, Spiffy.
No, I just had my no.
My
I was just moving my
apologies.
hand. I will say this though, Tamawashi is always in the joy, so he and Takayasu keep having the same opponents. So
It's a good point.
I think they're even in that respect.
It's a good point. Takayasu.
Anyway.
Vindication. Absolutely vindication right now. Yeah, I had a tie between Takayasu and Tamawashi. Absolute vindication here. I don't have to explain shit. You guys did it all for me.
We need the runtime. Explain shit, please.
God damn it. No, the fact that Takayasu has managed to climb back up here again, and as Goose said, marking 2026 as the 12th year, not consecutive, of course, that would be insane, in the Sanyaku is an extremely impressive feat, and the fact that he still looks competitive enough up there definitely has my favor for the Fighting Spirit prize. But then you get to Tamawashi and the fact that he's done that all, as Spiffy said, they're fighting pretty much the same people, but Tamawashi hasn't missed a day.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge factor.
Mr. Employee of the Month himself. Isn't it good that we all like the same stuff? That's great.
Yeah.
In fairness to Takayasu, he finally didn't miss any matches this year.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
true.
That is
pretty
good
cool.
to see that he was healthy enough to go through all the bashos.
He also got the absolute gift of going negative at Komusubi twice and staying at Komusubi, which is just fantastic to watch. The absolute gift.
Just be good enough, which is just be enough better than everyone else.
Just be really big. Outstanding performance prize. Spiffy.
All right. I had a list. So I immediately discounted anybody who had a losing record for the year. And then I looked at the Kinboshi that they had. And I think you've got obviously Onishiki is one. And he's got one Kinboshi, and he obviously had the best record of pretty much everybody. Takayasu had a Kinboshi, Tamawashi had a Kinboshi, they didn't do quite as well. Multiple Kinboshi. Abi, but he had a losing record. Wakamoto Haru, but he had an even record. Oho had two Kinboshi. and he was 49-41 for the year, which is like one of those things that you look at it and then you watch him fight and you somehow simultaneously can say, I can see how he does that, and also how the fuck did he do that?
Spiffy. The answer
So-
is obvious.
We solved
So
this
the
problem a
obvious
while
answer to
ago.
me is Hakuoho.
JJ and I solved this Oho problem a while ago. There's two Ohos.
Right.
One's
Yeah,
an
they're
Ozeki,
twins.
one's M13. The JSA doesn't know about this yet.
So anyway, I went with Hakuoho because he had 49-41 on the year. Yeah, some of it was at Lower Maegashira. No, I don't care. He had 3 Kinboshi, and none of them were lucky. He straight up yeeted all 3. He yeeted dudes all 3 times. Like they were, the one against Onosato was a little fortunate, but it was still a power move with the throw that he hit. So since outstanding performance often revolves around beating the Yokozuna, I'm going with him.
Good point. They often give
Good
it to the
argument.
guy who stopped the Yokozuna win streak, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
JJ.
Yep, fair cop. I went with a twist this time. Instead of looking at overall the year's performance and which is the best, I went with the singular most performance that stood out against that wrestler's rest of the year. And by far, to me, that's Kota Shoho. With that 13-2 the U show, I think that is probably the best. That's peak Kota Shoho. We're never going to see Kota Shoho do that well again. Yeah, I gotta give that the outstanding performance prize for me.
But again, I'll counter that, JJ, with his first week. He didn't wrestle a guy that had, that was higher than an M11, and I think the majority of those guys had losing records. I mean, think about if he was in the Joy and he'd spent that first week going against the Sanyaku. I mean,
Yeah, but
granted.
but Ron,
I don't accept that. Everyone
Ron,
started lower the Bansuke and only he did that. So I don't accept that.
The thing is, he's still one of 6 Yusho winners.
Oh, I agree. I mean,
Like,
to me, what proved it was on the second week when he did hit the Sanyaku and he beat him. And I think that was also his Kimboshi against Onosato. So I mean, he went up against the best and he proved, okay, it wasn't just because I got a weak set of opponents the first week that I'm here. Yeah, I took advantage of having a weak set of opponents to come in 7-0, but then I followed that up, with a 6-2. I mean, so yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm never a fan when people say, "Oh, it was a low Maegashira," because Takeru Fuji had to fight a Juryo guy for his Yusho. Still counts because all of them started down there, and only one of them could pull it off. It's still a Yusho to me because there was a Kimboshi in it, and it was a 13 or higher. It's as real as it gets. Got the turn order. I'm just gonna say JJ. JJ already went. Spiffy.
I did.
Spiffy already
went.
I'm spinning some players. It's my turn. Al Nishki's is my winner for the outstanding performance prize because looking at the whole year in review, which I probably should have made more clear, but I didn't. That's my fault. It also doesn't matter. Whole year in review, Al Nishiki just kept winning and kept winning and kept winning. He never slowed down. In fact, he accelerated. He got to M1, and I was the only person who predicted that he would get 10 plus wins. I checked, by the way. I watched everyone's video. New to Sumo didn't even talk about him in this. I believed in him when no one else did, and he proved me right. He gets to Sekiwake, and I'm the only one who says he doesn't make Obseki, and I now have to live with those consequences, but I'm still happy he did that. How was I supposed to predict he beats an Ozeki and a Yokozuna and gets 12 wins at Sekiwake all in the same day? That's bonkers. Everyone who's saying that I was wrong did not anticipate that. They just said, I think he gets it off 11. You did it. Anyway, just one of the greatest years of Sumo I've ever seen from anyone. The most consistent thing I've ever seen, which is what makes an Ozeki consistency. And my God, is that just outstanding? Like, no drop off period. Anyone?
Ron?
No, it's a solid argument. I mean, you can't beat the year he's had, but I think because he's going to, you know, be recognized in so many categories. You know, I wanted to hold this one for okay, who other than Aonishiki, you know, would I have given this to? And to me, it was Tamawashi. The fact that a guy who's 40 years old pulls off a Kimboshi against a monster and didn't do it with a Henka like Wakamoto Haru just did it straight up. I mean, you know, hey, I'm all for the old guys, okay? Being one myself. You know, and to me, that was, you know, that's the outstanding performance award. You know, was the fact is that he did, and he's just kept going. I mean, you know, he doesn't show any significant injuries. He's always there. He's always competitive. Um, you know, this is why, you know, I didn't have him for fighting spirit, but I said, okay, he's out. You know, to me, he was the guy who deserves the outstanding award because to me, he is what is sumo. You show up every day, you give it 100%, and you know, you win it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It's not just consistency, it's excellent consistency. Not even 10 wins,
Yeah.
above 10 wins every time. Speaking so, we're all talking about Aonishiki. I would like to take this time to publicly apologize to you, Spiffy. You dropped an absolute hand grenade in my lap just before the bar show of like, here's how Aonishiki can make Ozeki. And I had to deal with that literally every single day of the stream. Because I was right. It broke tradition. Hakaku said otherwise. Okay? Astronomical odds had to be against my favor. Against me for that. So, Spiffy, you were correct. I was wrong. Here's how Aonishiki can make Ozeki.
And I can't say I'm sorry. I'm not happy that it came back on you like that. But hey, I'm proud of it. Fuck it.
Based.
I would be mad at you if you did apologize. All right. Now, this is the most open to interpretation one, because I've heard two ways that this is explained, and I've never actually bothered looking it up myself. The technique prize. It either means the most use of technique or the most efficient, most excellent use of a technique. Like, if you're just an Oshidashi guy, you can still get it by being excellent at the way you do Oshidashi. But not only do I not know what the rules is, I've never bothered to look it up. So, JJ, who do you get for your technique prize?
I decided to go with a little bit of a different tact again, but I think other people might have the same answer, which was I went with a guy that is different to the techniques that we've otherwise been used to seeing in top division, and that of course would be Aonishiki. The way that this guy wrestles, yeah, exactly. I mean, the way that this guy wrestles is just so vastly different to basically everybody else here in the top division. The only person that comes close is Ura, and that's because they have a similar wrestling background. And you can definitely see it in Aonishiki and Ura, the way that they do their tachiai. They both come in almost at that like 90-degree angle that's super ridiculous. But I really can't think of anybody that has done other techniques in a way that like really drew my attention the way that Aonishiki did this year.
Points. I'm almost there with you too, but I had to give it to Hoshoryu because my understanding of the technique prize is the execution of the techniques, not just how many you did as well. And my God, does he have just as many tricks in Aonishiki's bag as he does, but I reckon he just does them so beautifully that it puts it over the edge. I'm a biased sumo commentator. Hoshoryu is my second favorite. And just watching him out Oshidashi Takanosho and making it look like a practice match or a demonstration, and then we're just watching him flip Onosato ass over tit out of the ring is just two extreme ends of an incredibly skilled wrestler, and his ability to just completely outmaneuver someone like that and just straight beat someone like that is just so fascinating to work. I probably would have given it to Onosato, but I watch him lose Oshi matches too much and go backwards, and there's at least 3 moments I can think of him doing kickflips out the ring, some sort of eagle pose as he's just flying, and that kind of gives Hoshoryu the edge to me. Not that Hoshoryu doesn't lose either, but like when he wins, my god, does he win. Ron, who do you have?
Oh, Aonishiki.
Yep.
I mean, for multiple reasons, like JJ said. I mean, he uses that freestyle wrestling experience. I mean, he has such a stable base. You can't throw him off his feet. I mean, the Henka, this last one. I mean, that was a cheap move that was pulled on him with that one. I know Henka's illegal, but I'm sorry. You need to show some respect for an opponent of that capability. Same as when one of the Waka Bros, Henka, Hoshoryu, go up against the guy. But the other part I look at too is, Goose, I'm with you. Hoshoryu is incredible with his skills that he shows. I mean, his throws, the way he gets people off balance, things like that. But Aonishiki owns him. I mean, it's being proven it's not even close. He's got the better technique. I mean, this last, Basho in November, I was watching. The second he got behind Hoshoryu, I said, that's it. It's over. Hosh is gone. Because basically Aonishiki has him in a freestyle takedown move now. And it's over. And he has that ability to also react to there's been times he's been on the ropes, he's been on the bales, and he escapes. I mean, he gets out of it and he comes back and he takes his opponent down. So, I look at it as not only did he get 3 technique awards during the year, which was the most of anybody, but you just look at the way he wrestles people. I mean, there's no way you can pin him down and say, okay, that's a definitive style that he has. He's not quite unconventional like Ura because he doesn't do backflips and some of the crazy fisherman throws and things like that. But he's got so many different ways he can attack that I think it's going to stand him in good stead in the future years. Yeah.
No, I haven't even asked Spiffy yet, but I know it's going to be 1v3 Hoshoryu Aonishiki here, and Aonishiki taught us all this year about Uchimuso, and that would have given the advantage to me, if not for the fact that I'm extremely biased. What gives me the edge over Aonishiki to Hoshoryu is Hoshoryu not just beats, but dominates people with his use of technique in multiple different styles. And that's the excellent use of technique that I interpret the rule as. But let's ask Spiffy why I'm wrong.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question first. If Hoshoryu's beating people with technique, what is Aonishiki beating people with?
Technique.
Okay, thank you. So part of the reason why I was working so hard to find different winners for Fighting Spirit and Outstanding Performance was because I didn't even make a list for this one. It was just him. The other day, Avril Lavigne was in my head, but instead of Skater Boy, she was singing Uchimuso Boy. Like, the dude has changed the game through the use of his techniques. Like, Hoshoryu is crisp as hell. The fact that he went from his first couple wins over Onosato was letting Onosato run into the throw. Then Onosato yeeted his ass. And then he barely got an arm drag win against him. Okay, something's got to change. And I thought Onosato was going to start beating his ass at that point. But then he started figuring out ways to pull Onosato into throws. And that is deeply, deeply impressive. Like, Hoshoryu is worthy of note here. Absolutely. Especially because he's also figured out how to turn it around and start jamming it in people's faces and win with more straightforward sumo. That's how he became a Yokozuna and not just a long-term Ozeki. But Aonishiki, so I used to do like one-on-one breakdowns and stuff. And so I ended up watching a lot of guys at least a little bit. And I would consistently see what they were thinking, like how they were going about their approach, like their basic game plan, how they would adjust for an opponent match after match after match. Aonishiki is the only guy who every time I break down a fight of his, I get more impressed with what he does. Because the depth of what he's pulling off, he gets in these long matches, so you get to see a lot of what he can do. And even then, at full speed, you miss most of what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible. Now, I think the only way I could even think of giving Hoshoryu or honorable mention Kirishima, who I still think is the smartest wrestler in sumo in terms with respect to using those core sumo skills. Aonishiki uses a different set of skills. Is if you take game planning completely out of the picture and you go purely on what they're doing with their hands, their feet, their body. But Aonishiki and Ajigawa come in so ready for every opponent. And then Aonishiki can, in a half a second, react to stuff that he doesn't necessarily know is coming, but knows could come. And it's easy for that to maybe sound like, well, if you think he's that smart, then you're seeing him as being that smart. But it's too frequent. It's too frequent where it's like he was ready for that. He was ready for that. He had to be. There's no way he does that otherwise. It happens again and again and again. They game plan beautifully, and then he pulls off what he needs to pull off without a hitch nearly every time. I've been studying his last tournament. I've been studying this November tournament, and in 15 matches, I think I saw maybe 3 legitimate mistakes that he made. That's unreal. That's unheard of. You will find, if you're going frame by frame slow-mo, you will find more errors than that in even the best guys. It's ridiculous what he can do and how consistently he does it. Like, I didn't even have a second thought on this one.
No, and I'm not gonna get mad at anyone who said anyone that wasn't Aonishiki, because, like, God, like, I agree. Because, like, last year, or at least even this year, I was arguing forever that Hoshoryu and Kirishima are the most technical wrestlers on the clay, and that they have the most, like, fine minutia skill for the grappling side of things. And then Aonishiki is, like, I think 4-0 against both of them now. So it's like, oh, it's just Aonishiki. There's no argument there anymore.
You know, and I think one thing we haven't talked about is Aonishiki's been doing sumo for 2 years.
He started sumo when he was 7.
Pro sumo for 2 years.
Well, but
right.
Pro sumo, yeah, okay. I mean, Hoshoryu, I mean, he's been doing this since what, age 15? I think is when he first came in. Yeah. You know, so he's had time to refine those moves. Aonishiki, I mean, he's still going to be learning. He's still, you know, as spiffy as you pointed out. I mean, he figured out Onosato in 3 bashos. You know, how many other guys, you know, have figured out Onosato that fast? You know, I think Hoshoryu is probably the only other one. You know, but that's why I look at it and I just go, this is a young guy. He's still developing. I mean, his body frame is still developing. You know, typically in men, you know, age 25 is when your frame finally fills out. And I mean, he's still, you know, I think what he shows is just incredible. And I got to agree with you, Spiffy. He doesn't put a foot wrong. You know, I mean, that's why the Henka to me was upsetting, because to me it was just, okay, yeah, it's legit. It's a cheap shot. You know, you didn't have the guts to stand up to the guy. But
On
I
point
bet you
on something.
Aonishki has learned a lot from that Henka. I mean, he will not, fly out that hard in the future.
A question on Hank is spiffy. Have you ever done a question mark kick?
Yes.
All I need to know.
Okay. But real quick, because you mentioned Hoshoryu and Kirishima and how much Aonishki's beaten him. He's 7-0 against them, but let's not forget, he didn't just beat them. He has taken their back 4 out of the 7 times
He's embarrassed
that he beat them. That is insane.
Yeah.
Now let me just rename this the Whole Hog the Movie Aonishki in review real quick. Because goddamn.
That's what I was trying to avoid.
Why? He deserves it. This guy deserves it, so I shouldn't give it to him. That's insane. You're insane. The dude is a phenom. He accelerated at the end of the year. He went 12-3. I think 2026 is going to be an insane year, because as Ron was hinting at with Aonishki, he finally got his hand on Onosato's belt. And although he lost, he did topple Onosato. We know Aonishki's smart enough to go, I know what to do now. Because he finally was able to do that. And to your point, Spiffy, he doesn't just beat... It's like, the problem with Onosato is that it's, hey, Yoshidashi, win, nice, or I'll pull down because I was losing. And to be fair, he's a gorilla that they found out in the woods that they taught to do Teppo. And that's a valid sumo strategy. All 210 kilos of Gagamaru said being enormous is a good sumo strategy. And I believe him. He beat Haramufuji, which just going bush. Well done. So, where was I going with that? Yeah, to your point, he's beaten Hoshoryu in different ways. He's Uchimuso'd him, and then he's gotten to his back and he dropped him down. Hoshoryu's coming in with like, I know what I did wrong last time. Here's how I adapt, and Aonishki takes it in a completely different direction.
No, Hoshoryu is not doing that.
Is he?
So the first 2 fights, Hoshoryu's got a certain tachi-ai. He gets very upright so that he can push and use the push to lead into whatever he wants to do next. He does that nearly every time against basically every opponent. He did that the first 2 times against Aonishki, and Aonishki abused him almost the exact same way both times. The third fight, so day 14 in November, Hoshoryu put his hand up and then brought it back down like he was going to go for the belt. Aonishki just hit his arm, basically took it out of the fight, and then got his belt. The amazing thing about it, if you watch it slow, watch it fast or watch it slow, is that he's able to hit Hoshoryu's left arm with his right hand and also almost simultaneously dive in and get the belt with his left hand so that he can get around Hoshoryu's side and Hoshoryu can't turn to face him. That's how he basically ran him out of the ring so fast. So in the playoff, Hoshoryu didn't have another adjustment ready. So he went back to the original tachi-ai, and Aonishki did him again like the first 2 fights. One thing Hoshoryu is, and this has been consistent, if somebody gets on a good run against him, he is stubborn as hell. He does not want to change what he does, or not much. He makes very few, if any, changes. He's confident his sumo is going to get it done in the end.
Yeah.
And
He wants to prove that
sometimes,
he was right.
think Abi recently,
Yeah.
yeah, it don't always work that way.
Right.
So he's going to have to figure out a wholesale change for fighting Aonishki. And I don't know when he's going to be willing to do that.
A lot of good points there, but I stand true that Hoshoryu is the actual technique prize winner, despite this 3v1 situation. Some of the best sumo minds I could find. All right. This next one.
The guy who just yelled at us for not giving all the prizes to Aonishki.
He deserves it.
Except this one. That we all agree he should get, except you.
I forget why I said. I'm biased. That's why. Because I like Hoshoryu more. All right? No, I remember why. Because, yeah, Aonishki's good, but the thing that Hoshoryu has over him is that Hoshoryu is dominating people in multiple different ways. Well, like with Oshi and with throws and with Yorikiri. That's it to me. Look, we weren't here for facts and numbers. We're here to yell at each other. All right, this next one, turns out JJ is the only person who's able to transcribe my horrific style of English, if you could even call it that. And we are gonna do the, what should be Makuuchi debut, but what I wrote, the Makusta debut. Ron, you have a presentation on a Japanese knife company that you told us, and Spiffy, you have your third division debut that you'd like to tell us about.
Yeah, I figured, okay, maybe it was Makashita. I mean, it's like, wow, we're going to have to dig to figure that one out. And then I looked up Makusta. It's a Japanese knife company. I thought, okay, I got to ask Goose, what did you mean?
Well, what would you like to tell us about Japanese knives, though? Because I think this one's going to be a very quick segment, so let's try and divert.
Oh, this segment is like, okay, asked and answered. Okay, I mean, Makashita debut of the year. Can it be anybody other than Aonishiki? I mean, the guy in 1 year, I mean, what, 4 Bashos goes from, okay, an M14 debut to now he's an Ozeki. That's my...
No, look, this exact same situation happened last year. All 4 of us gave Takeru Fuji as the debut. It's like, who else is there?
Tim, I didn't even. I just looked up the name, saw it was a Japanese knife site, and said, "Okay, that's it." Goose has scrambled me.
If you must know, every time I send a message, I jump into the air and I have to send it before I land. There's no time to backspace or anything. Spiffy?
If you want to make a very specific argument for somebody else, a hyper-specific argument for somebody else,
I don't.
And say the Makuuchi debut is just the first tournament they were in, you could go with Kusano / Yoshino Fuji, because he and Aonishiki both won 11-4 in their first tournaments, but Kusano was in the Yusho race to the end and got a Jun Yusho out of it.
This is year in review, though.
I know. So, but debut could go either way. I mean, if obviously for the year it's Aonishiki.
Yep.
I'm just, if you want an angle that goes with somebody else, there you go. There is an argument for Yoshi. And also, if you want the Makushita debut, it's obviously Goshima / Fuji Ryoga, because he's the only option.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So this was an open and shut one, regardless of which one you meant.
Yeah.
See, I've been doing this with Goose now for almost 5 years at this point, so I'm fluent in Fool. No, but I did want to honorably mention Kusano, because he did have that debut where he fought in the entire way. He was in the race until the end, got the Jun Yusho. That's an incredibly amazing debut. I also wanted to mention Fujinokawa, because there hasn't been a debut where I see a guy and within 3 fights I go, oh, I really like this guy.
Mm-hmm.
You fall in love way too easily with people, but I don't blame you.
I like this sport, man.
Me too.
And then it's ultimately, though, it's got to be Aonishiki if we're talking year in review, because the man has just accelerated as the year has gone by, and yeah, I'm sure. I think last year it's. I'm not going to put it to anywhere other than Aonishiki. I just wanted to give Yoshino Fuji and Fujinokawa their dues.
Yeah. And my answer is Aonishiki. But if we are talking third division debuts, there is one person I would like to highlight. Noda Tenga from Fujishima Heya is someone I only paid attention to literally last bar show, but he's, as of a week ago, 20 years old, shot up like, not a rocket, but on a pretty steady climb up through third division, and only just went 3-4, which probably would have put him in like MS1 or maybe even Juryo if he was lucky. And there's this really young kid who's from Noah but seems to be doing well, and I reckon could be a big deal in Juryo if things are turning out. He looked impressive from what I saw. But other than that, he's also just a kid no one knows about, so who cares? All right.
I'm excited to see Kazuma next year.
Yeah. Kiho's back from injury as well and starting to do well.
Yeah, he blew out his knee in his first basho, so he ended up effectively starting 3 divisions below the Makushita start he was supposed to have.
I mean, that happens surprisingly often. You'll be like, oh, who's this 5th Division Yusho? Some 26-year-old that has a terrible injury. And he's finally back versing children. It's like, oh, all right.
college sumo wrestler who, has an immediate injury and, basically gets a year and a half of, okay, can't do anything.
Rest in peace, Mita.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Such as
I
life.
was looking forward to. You know what was sad about the Makuuchi debuts? The 3 guys we've mentioned, Nishiki, Kusano, and Fuji, were the only 3 debutantes who had a winning record in Makuuchi for the year. They're the only 3 who even stuck. Like, God, that was so sad. The group as a whole was just not great.
Well, it proves how hard it is, and I'm going to bring up Goose's favorite wrestler. As much as we pile crap on him.
Well, thanks for coming, everyone.
The guy has stayed in the Maegashira.
Everyone.
Hey, wait! You haven't done the most underrated one.
I don't want you to. Talk
Yeah, we
about
can't end yet, Goose.
I really don't want to hear about Shishi right now. Nah, say your point, Ron.
No, I had to try. I mean, it's tough. It is tough to make it to the top of the pyramid. I mean, it's 620 plus guys, that are in the professional sumo ranks. 42 of them are the top of the pyramid. It's like any sport you look at. When you're in professional sports, whether they're team sports or individual sports, I mean, sure, I'll use an example from baseball. Getting to AA baseball, you got guys coming straight out of college that can make AA as their first stop. They can make AAA. Making it to the big leagues, boy, that's where you separate out the real superstars from the guys who are just excellent. And that's what I see with what sumo does. You can make it from Juryo and come up and you can be okay, M15, M14 when you come in. If you don't have the chops, you're going back down right away because there's a whole lot of guys above you that have been there, done that. And the guys who got demoted are looking to come right back up. So they're going to be fighting for their way back in too. So, I think,
not Hitoshi.
Yeah.
Rip Hitoshi.
Good point. Anything anyone want to point out before we get into the final category? Anything you just felt like saying? No, good. All right. Underrated moment. Just something that you felt like really needed to be pointed out but didn't fall into a category. Just something that really stood out to you this year as a beautiful part of sumo. JJ, what would that be to you?
I think, as Goose, you've pointed out, on this channel, we are proudly biased. And without a doubt, my favorite wrestler is Ichi Yamamoto. And the underrated moment to me has to be him going however many losses in 4.
11
sorry.
11 and 4.
11 and 4.
It was 4 and 11?
Yeah. No, it was, but the first losses, like the 4 losses that he had, I think it was, how many days into it? Was it like 1 and 4?
He was basically going up against
out?
the Sanyaku. Yeah. And then he just cleaned house after that.
He was 3 and 4, and then he won out.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, 3 and 4, and then winning out is absolutely crazy to me as somebody that was a fan when he was going 7 and 7 for a whole year. Right? Like that's a big thing for me, and him getting the Fighting Spirit prize, now probably going to get promoted to his career high rank going into the new year. That's all really big for me. So that's it. That's got to be it.
It's a big moment for Postman Slap, and I'm very happy for him as well to pull that off. For me, Nagoya 2025. I don't know why I pointed that out. Nagoya this year. Hakuoho beating Onosato with an Oshidashi clean and fast right out of the gate. Simple, quick 3-second match, but by itself really not that much, but like the legacy leading into that, because we were fresh off the Hakuho issue at the time. Hakuho's number 1 guy, Kizuna Sato's number 1 guy, they finally meet. It's just such a beautiful, quick match, and like Hakuoho is on a Yusho run as well. Sorry, Onosato's on a Yusho run as well, and then just gets dropped by this kid, and it's like, hang on. hang on, the injury, the surgery, not the injury, like we missed him. Has he really been denied his legacy? You know, he's coming back. He's starting to do well. He's starting to climb the Banzuke again. Now he's picking up Kimbo Shees like it's easy. I was doing backflips on concrete when I saw that. It was such a fantastic moment for me. Ron?
For me, it was the July Basho when Onishiki faced Hoshoryu for the first time, because everybody was saying, okay, Hoshoryu is going to just settle this kid's hash. You know, the run's over. Now he comes up against the Yokozuna, and boy, what happens? You know, Onishiki shows us a totally different type of sumo, and just, you know, just starts his domination run of Hoshoryu. I mean, you know, again, it was the fact that just so many people thought, yeah, he's going to be a flash in the pan. Sure, he's, you know, we've seen this before. You know, guys who've flown up through, you know, the Juryo. I mean, you look at Takeru Fuji. You know, last year comes up first basho he's ever in as a Maegashira, you know, wins the basho and then has the injuries and is now, you know, fighting his way back up through Juryo. Nah, this guy, you know, he showed, okay, hey, first time I'm in there, I'm coming up against the, you know, the top dog, and I showed that I can do it. You know, that to me was the underrated moment.
I dig it. Bring us home.
Okay. I enjoyed watching Ichi. I always like watching Ichi fight, and watching him win is a lot of fun because when he wins that much, I don't understand how he's doing it. But it's happening, and it's a good time. Watching Hakuoho drop a bomb on Onosato, I completely agree, was wonderful. That was a ton of fun to watch. Aonishiki beating Hoshoryu, I think I underrated how underrated that was, because Hoshoryu dropped out of the basho soon after that. So it looked like, oh, he was hurt. It was a good win, but the Yokozuna was hurt. Let's see what happens next time. And we still, even after the win, we still didn't know what was coming. So my underrated moment is unbelievably nerdy, because obviously it is. It's Onosato's 14-0 start in May. And the reason it's underrated is because of the way they schedule matches. So here's the thing to keep in mind. Aonishiki was 8-1 to start that tournament. So after 9 days, he's only 1 win back. He's 8-1, and he's got the Sanya. Now he's got to fight the Sanyaku, right? Now, part of the reason, Goose, you were the only one who had any faith in him the next tournament was because he fought Wakataka Kage and then Kotozakura and then Daisho and got mollywopped. Like, he lost all 3 of those matches. So now he's 8-4. And then he only has to fight Hakuoho at Maegashira 7, Atami at 12, and Sada no Umi at 13 to finish off and get his 11-4. If Onosato had not been 12-0, if he had been like 10-2 instead, Aonishiki would have still been in the Yusho race. He would have had, and as a Maegashira guy with 8 wins in the Yusho race, he would have kept pulling Sanyaku opponents. And as dominant as he is against just about everybody now, obviously he wasn't quite the same guy back then. There is a very good chance he eats another loss. If he eats another loss, he doesn't move all the way up to Maegashira 1 in the next tournament. If he doesn't move up to Maegashira 1 in the next tournament, does he necessarily make the run that we just saw? I think his talent level, his skill level, puts him at Ozeki eventually anyway. But Onosato running the table all the way to the end of May gave Aonishiki an easier schedule, which ramped him up faster, which got him to where we all expected him to be sooner. And that is invariably underrated because almost nobody realizes that's the case. But it's absolutely true.
Those are all solid moments that I didn't appreciate until you pointed out how big they were. I'm happy to hear that. Right.
So Goose, before
Yeah.
we sign off, I got one question because of the people that are here. Which boss show do you think Kazak loses the Ozeki?
Oh, come on, man. I don't think he does. That dude is pulling out 8-7s like it's no one's business, and if he does one bad one, he'll be able to recover and pull back a good one. I don't think he's ever making Yokozuna, because, like, my God, how can you right now? But I think he's staying Ozeki for at least 2 more years.
I think I'm with Goose. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's just going to truck along forever with 8-7s.
And he
Maybe
picked up
he'll
a
go
9-5
Kataban.
before he popped his other knee. He was doing quite well then. Well, 9-4.
I think we need to find. I think the joy needs to consist of enough wrestlers who can take advantage of his bad knee, and there are too many guys who can't do that, who keep cycling into that competition level every tournament. So if it was just going to take one losing record, I think it'll happen. But 2 in a row, I don't think the overall competition level is high enough to count on him losing Ozeki unless his knee breaks down even further, which it could. But because it's an injury issue and not a skill level, it's really hard to kind of guess when that's going to happen.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to put that. It's not within his control if he drops out of Ozeki at this point. It's up to the injury.
Yeah, and that's where I'm coming from is that the left knee's never going to get better. It's going to steadily deteriorate. I mean, that's what happened with mine. You know, the right knee, yeah, okay, minor tear, but the problem is the tear never repairs itself. So it's now been weakened. All he needs is somebody to fall on that knee for him to take one bad slip, I mean, and, you got 15 days that you do this. You have all the training sessions. That's why I'm just wondering, how long can he keep holding out? I mean, I'm going to say I'm giving him all the props for managing to hold on to Ozeki this year. I thought he was going to be gone this year, especially after the right knee got injured.
That 510 was brutal.
Yeah, but he's been, he's been holding it on, but I just don't see that he's going to be able to hold it up. They just don't get enough rest, to let the full healing occur. So, yeah. But I just want to see what your guys' opinions were on that. Yeah.
Yeah, skill-wise, he's not losing Ozeki. I think it's going to be a Takayasu situation. He's not losing Ozeki because of skill.
No, not because of skill. It's going to be because of injury. Yeah.
All right. We'll wrap this up, but closing thoughts from the rest of you, and then I'll bring us home. Anyone? Anything you want to advertise? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, actually, there is. We're putting a tentative date out right now for the Canadian National Tournament, that will decide the team for Worlds. That is going to, it's looking like be the weekend of April 12th, and that's going to be somewhere in Ontario. It hasn't been decided yet.
Sorry, I have to go to Ontario.
But,
if you can get a post of that, I'll start advertising.
Yeah, me too. Once I have the info, we're going to be slapping that all over this channel. But yeah, I wanted to get the word out on that quite early. So.
Fair enough. Spiff?
Well, I suppose there's no point in hyping a video when I have kind of purposely not talked about what it's going to be yet. So I'll say this. Yuria, the channel artist, she's been dealing with an arm injury for the better part of a year, which is why we haven't had any new Sumo Kitten stuff. But she's healing up pretty well now. She's doing a lot more art, and we're going to have some new stuff pretty soon for anyone who's interested in that kind of thing.
Ah, cool.
Good to know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Ron's a retiree that doesn't have a YouTube channel, so I don't know. You want to talk about F1, I guess, Ron?
No, I'm just looking forward to 2026. I mean, so many great young guys coming up, so many storylines that are going to be in play. I mean, I think we're looking towards a really good year coming up.
Yeah, year about Nishiki, I think. I can feel it in my bones. Well,
It's going
That's
to be the year of Al-Nishki no matter how he does, because he's the only one they're going to pay attention to.
hell yeah. All right, well, that's gonna be it from us. If you have your own version of this list that you want to leave in the comments, don't. Most of you are fucking morons, and I don't have to hear it anyway. So take care, everyone. Thanks for watching the Sumo. We will be back in January. Sumo.